Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, the Batman Catwoman action figure. Now, I've been aggressively looking for the Batman figures for about a week now. I've been seeing reports online of people finding them at Target all across the country. I pulled up the Target app, got the DCPI number from the Batman action figure. It's shared between the entire wave, and I kept giving it to stores to punch in, and I finally struck gold. So let's go and check out the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus, Catwoman, DC Multiverse, based off the upcoming The Batman film. One side of the package, Catwoman from the Batman. Other side simply says Catwoman. Here she is in the package. She has a whip, collector's card, and a display stand. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode, in case it helps anybody. And on the back side, here's Catwoman posed up, and here are a bunch of other the Batman figures you should check out. So with no further ado, let's open her up. And here are all three of the Batman figures that I picked up today. Really excited to open these guys up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here she is with all of her accessories laid out. She does come with a collector's card, a display stand, and her signature whip. But before we take a look at the accessories, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Catwoman from the upcoming The Batman film. She's played by Zoë Kravitz. So let's take a look at her. As you can see, she has sort of a ski mask as her mask. Only the eyes are exposed. It sort of bends up here, simulating cat ears, which, I don't know if that's just a coincidence in the movie, or she's intentionally kind of looking like Catwoman. The eyes looks to be a little bit side-eyed, looking to the right. It's really not that bad, but at the same time, once you see it, you keep wondering what's to her right. You can see the little wrinkles in the mask. I mean, it looks pretty good. I know a lot of people probably have mixed feelings on how Catwoman looks in the film, but this figure is not a bad rendition. Going further down, outfit, I don't know if it's supposed to be exactly leather. She is, I believe, a cat burglar in the film. You can see different sort of texture on the different parts. I like that. Belt here, a little sort of strap down here. Looks like double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. I really like the texturing on sort of the leg parts here. The suit looks pretty good. A lot of subtle details there. Sculpting is very nice. And just a closer look at her face or head sculpt. You don't really see that much of Zoë Kravitz's face, only the eyes. There is an unmasked version coming in the future. Really curious to see how that looks. And at first glance, I would say one of the worst things about this figure are going to be her ankles. There are balls in the ankle, but the balls are bigger than the leg or the foot. They really needed to be smaller. Very noticeable. And now we don't really know that much about this version of Catwoman. At least I don't. I've been avoiding spoilers like crazy, and I'm proud of myself for that. In the trailers, she appears to be robbing the Wayne Manor. That may not be the case. Her and Batman get into a confrontation. Apparently they end up helping each other. Beyond that, I really don't know much at all. Now let's take a look at her accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's her display stand. Typical McFarlane stand, black perfect circle, says DC at the bottom. It's got one peg for the peg hole on her feet. Very thin, very basic. Here's her collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the figure. She appears to be sort of scaling down the side of a building with a large rope. Now, notice she's holding this whip. This whip is completely curled up. That is not the accessory she comes with. Would have been nice if she had a curled up whip and the long whip. Maybe the unmasked version will come with this. Maybe it's lost forever. Who knows? Catwoman from the Batman. Backside. Got a little description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Now let's look at her whip. Like I said before, the whip in her collector's card is a completely different accessory. Hopefully we'll see that down the road. But in the meantime, this is what we've got. It is made of a softer material. It's got a little give to it, but it's not like a bendy wire. You can't make it take different shapes. Now it has this fatter part on the end and this sort of peg looking piece on the other end. Now, it looks like this is supposed to plug into something. I mean, it really does not seem like that would be how it would look naturally. I'm guessing she'll hold this, so you won't see this. But then she has a fat piece on the end. Doesn't really make sense to me as a whip. I don't think she holds this piece, because my god, there's no way that's actually supposed to be the end. I don't know, I haven't seen the film yet. Maybe that's the kind of whip she uses. I just thought a traditional whip does not look like this at all. Here's Catwoman holding her whip. Now the whip itself can be quite loose in her hand unless you hit just that sweet spot. You put it in a little further, it sort of just dangles in there. Like I said, if you get it just right, it fits in there pretty nicely. She can kind of hold this whip wrapped around her body. Not sure she does in the film, but I noticed the bends in the whip allow for this. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and her accessories, now let's check out her height. From bottom to the top of her head, she's standing at about 6.6 inches tall, which is going to translate to about 17 centimeters. Now let's check out her articulation. Starting with her head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. She can look up and down about that far, not too much on the upside, but okay down. She can tilt her head from one side to the other, giving her a good amount of personality. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. She's got McFarlane's signature butterfly joint between her shoulder and chest area, increase in the range of motion. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbow goes all the way in. Her wrist has a ball in it, and it's hidden very nicely. Can rotate. It's going to be hinged as well. She's got ball joint her torso, rotate around, go forward and back. Another ball joint her waist, rotate around, go forward and back. Give me a pretty good range of motion in her torso area. And you know, it doesn't look half bad. Legs completely does a splits. Not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. Rotation, not bad. Better than most McFarlane figures. Legs go forward about that far. Back about that much. Double jointed knees below that. Then her ankle has a ball in it, the one that doesn't look very good. Forward, rotate, tilt, rock, and toe articulation. Here's Catwoman in her apartment in Gotham City with a bunch of cats. And just a little look in Catwoman's apartment. We have her nightstand here, some jewelry, her bolas, her backpack. Cats absolutely everywhere. Then she got all these cabinets in the back for her stolen merchandise. And then here's Batman in Catwoman's apartment. He looks around and makes the comment, "Boy, got a lot of cats." And she says, "I have a thing for strays." Here's Catwoman on a rooftop overlooking Gotham. And then Batman embracing Catwoman on the rooftop. And then here's Batman and Catwoman on a rooftop. Batman begs Catwoman, "Selina, don't throw away your life." And she replies, "Don't worry, I've got 9 of them." Here's Batman fighting Catwoman in the Wayne Manor. And here's Catwoman laying on the ground in her apartment, surrounded by all of her cats. Now let's check her out next to some other action figures, starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here she is with the rest of the first assortment of the Batman figures. We've got Batman, Catwoman, and the Riddler. Other figures that are coming out: Penguin, Drifter Bruce Wayne with facial covering, Unmasked Batman, Unmasked Catwoman. There's also Batman's Batcycle, and Drifter's motorcycle. Here they are with the Batcycle. Here's Catwoman riding on the Batcycle. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets to take this thing out for a spin during the film. I would like to put Catwoman on the Drifter motorcycle next to Batman on the Batcycle. I think that'd be a cool combo. Here she is, next to a couple of DC Cinematic Universe Wonder Woman figures. These are the only other live-action female figures McFarlane has made, and Wonder Woman is a monstrosity next to this Catwoman. And I guess it's okay, because a lot of people complained Wonder Woman was too tall. And I mean, she was. Looks like Catwoman is going to scale up pretty good with the rest of the line compared to Wonder Woman. Here she is, next to a couple of Batgirl figures. Then, next to some Harley Quinn figures. Here are all the different female figures McFarlane has made in the DC line so far. There are a total of 15 of them. I guess the next one coming out was going to be the Unmasked Catwoman. Here she is, next to the live action figures from Zack Snyder's Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League exists in the DC Cinematic Universe and is completely separate from the Batman. And she looks considerably shorter than them. I mean, Batman's not too far off. Catwoman's just a little bit shorter. I don't think the Batman figures are too much of a different scale than these guys. Then, next to a live-action Arrow figure. Arrow's from the CW's Arrowverse. He is the only live-action figure they've released that's not in the DC Cinematic Universe, up until the Batman figures. Now let's check her out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here she is, next to a couple of Lex Luthor figures. Then, next to Superboy Prime and the Dark Knight Returns Armored Batman Blue Edition. And here she is, next to a couple of Lobo figures. Then, next to the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn and the Mortal Kombat 11 Joker. And here she is, next to the recently released 3 Jokers wave. And then, next to a few McFarlane Swamp Thing Mecha figures. Here she is, next to Nightwing and Red Hood from Gotham Knights. Then, next to the Batman Who Laughs and Robin Crow's 4-pack. Now let's check her out, next to some other Catwoman figures. Here she is, with all my different DC Direct and DC Collectibles Catwoman figures. Then, next to a Yamato Catwoman figure. And here she is, next to a couple of Mezco 112 Collective Catwoman figures. Then, next to a Soap Studios Catwoman. And here she is, next to my Mattel Catwoman figures. Then, next to some Mafex Catwoman figures. And here, next to an SH Figure Arts Catwoman. Then, with a Hot Toys 1/12 scale Catwoman. Boy, is there a big height difference. This Hot Toys is like the bottom of the 6-inch scale. And here, next to a DST or Diamond Select Toys Cat, Selena Kyle from Gotham. And finally, next to a few Kenner Catwoman figures. Here's my entire collection of Catwoman figures, and I don't have them all. Here's this new Catwoman, next to the figure that I used for Selena Kyle. This is a McFarlane Danger Girl Sydney Savage figure. I thought she worked good as sort of a modern comic Catwoman with the mask off. The outfit is very similar. And since it doesn't look like McFarlane's going to be making an Alfred or Commissioner Gordon from this film, here's Catwoman next to a couple of DST or Diamond Select Toys. On the left, we have Alfred from Gotham, and on the right, Bernard from Westworld. Now, Alfred doesn't exactly look like Andy Serkis, but he looks like a generic 7-inch Alfred. And Bernard's the same actor to play Gordon in The Batman. And here she is, next to an Edward from Twilight figure. This is Robert Pattinson out of the Batsuit. Now let's check her out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how she fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix her with. Since she's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. Here she is, with some of her McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, next to some more McFarlane Toys, these are from different various video game properties. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures. And here she is, next to some DST or Diamond Select Toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here, with some NECA figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestling figures. And here she is, next to some Mezco 1/12 Collective figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here, with some Mafex figures. Then, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here she is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, I'd say it's a fantastic figure. They did a great job translating what was on screen to the action figure form. I do feel like in the movie she'll probably have her mask off most of the time, so it's going to make you really want the unmasked version too. Any complaints I would have about this figure would really be complaints with the design in the film. I don't hate it, but it's kind of starting to grow on me. It took me a while to warm up to Anne Hathaway's look, and I think when I see the film, I'll probably really like this. Right now I'm a little bit skeptical, but the figure is great. A little confused about the whip. I don't understand why it has that sort of little peg piece that looks like it should hook into something. I feel like she was also supposed to come with a curled up whip at one point in time anyway. Her articulation is just fine, no problem there. The sculpt job on her suit is excellent. Paint job, fantastic. Slight side eyes, annoying. If I had to rate this figure, I'm going to give her a 7 out of 10. Definitely enjoying her. Leaning more toward a 7.5. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.